know exactly why expound on that.
Because why would he even want to?
Lopez, Gervonta Davis, are you ready to go through these fights?
Versus winner, you know, they make this, you know, and if you watch box, like how many years we're waiting, like Pacquiao versus Mayweather, how many years we're waiting Wilder versus...
Gervonta Davis gave a harsh reply after seeing Manny Pacquiao's training video, wondering why the 46-year-old is stepping back into the ring. He showed worry and shock about Pacquiao fighting at this age, saying the return is risky and warning that today's boxers won't take it easy on him.
He got it.
Be careful with what you wish for.
Yes. For sure. For sure.
Gervonta Davis, known as one of the most dangerous and powerful lightweights today, never hides his views on facing Manny Pacquiao, even though he respects Pacquiao's legendary name. Davis boldly claims he wouldn't find the fight too hard. His opinion comes from confidence, not disrespect, and his belief that today's fighters are faster, stronger, and more aggressive. For Davis, who is at his physical best, fighting a 46-year-old Pacquiao would be a career highlight and a clear example of how the new generation stands out.
Just saying him and then fighting somebody like Pacquiao it give me hope, for sure. It doesn't matter who I fight. It doesn't matter. As long as I put on a great performance whoever I fight, it doesn't matter. I don't believe that.
After confirming his return bout with Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao gave a calm but open answer about his future plans. When asked about facing boxers like Ryan Garcia, Pacquiao answered slowly, saying one step at a time, but he didn't rule anything out, which led fans to believe he might plan several fights, depending on how he does against Barrios. This shows he's serious about the comeback and not just saying goodbye to the sport.
Manny, when you beat Barrios, what's next? Are you going to fight Ryan Garcia, Haney, Lopez, Gervonta Davis? Are you ready to go through these fights?
One at a time.
But you want those guys?
We'll see. We'll see. I always, I cannot say after this I'm going to fight like that, but one at a time. After the fight, we can see, we can talk like.
In all his talks, Manny Pacquiao has clearly said he's not afraid of big challenges, even at an age when most boxers have long quit the game.
Any possibility that you would go back in the ring and fight someone like a Tank Davis?
If you want, and if he come up to 147, then we can fight.
He can't meet you at 140?
145 maybe. It's not a problem for me, because I'm an experienced fighter, so.
Even before his return was confirmed, Pacquiao brought up names like Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, and Conor McGregor as possible opponents. This showed both his hunger to compete and his smart business thinking these are famous names that promise exciting fights and big pay-per-view numbers.
So I'm not sure how true this is, but supposedly Manny Pacquiao's coming out of retirement. And these are the three names that he's interested in fighting. And now of these three names, which one do you think is the best matchup? Conor McGregor, that would just be a money grab. Everyone knows Manny Pacquiao's skill level is way above Conor's. Tank Davis? Nah, Manny Pacquiao would get knocked out by Tank Davis. I'm telling you right now, Tank would catch him, and Manny's going night-night. Now, Ryan Garcia is the fight that makes the most sense in my opinion. If you guys remember, this fight was heavily rumored at one time. And I think it might even been booked at one time, but it fell through at the last minute. And it makes the most sense to happen. Ryan Garcia is a big name currently in boxing. Style-wise, they match up perfectly. And it's a fight that could go either way. If Ryan Garcia wins, he adds a big name like Manny Pacquiao on his resume. And I know he's coming out of retirement, but still, that's Manny Pacquiao. And if Manny Pacquiao wins, he adds to his legacy and inserts himself right back in the title run. So again, these are just rumors, and I don't know if Manny Pacquiao's really out of retirement. But if he is, the fight that makes the most sense is Ryan Garcia.
Behind the scenes, boxing insiders say a Davis versus Pacquiao fight isn't just fantasy talk. Both camps are willing to discuss terms if Pacquiao performs well against Barrios. For Davis, going up against a living legend like Pacquiao would raise his fame to a new level.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's gonna beat Barrios, which is gonna lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around, look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the Barrios Barrios fight off of 3 years off and a loss to Ugas.
Next, cry me a river, man. That's what boxing is. But longer deserve a Canelo fight?
I'm just gonna rub it in. Pause. I remember saying when Tank couldn't get a fight in, I was saying Shakur shouldn't have signed that deal with Matchroom if he wanted to fight Tank. Lomachenko, I said he ducked. But then when he couldn't find a fight, I said, hey, fight Manny Pacquiao. The reason why I said fight Manny Pacquiao at 144 was, number one, you can get the sensationalism and the crazy hype shit of a Jake Paul fight, right? It got the money grab on it. On top of that, though, he can prepare for 140 by fighting Manny at 144, get a training camp in at your weight class. Then he could come down from 144 and fight Tio at 140. Everybody said that don't make sense, Biz. Tank fight Lamont Roach, take a knee, draw, grease in the eye.
MMA great Khabib Nurmagomedov recently shared his unhappy view on where boxing is heading. He criticized the way fights are picked and promoted, saying they focus more on hype than real talent. According to him, matchups like Pacquiao versus Barrios show that boxing is now more about making money than protecting fighters or ensuring fairness.
Winner versus winner, you know, they make this, you know, and if you watch box, like how many years we're waiting, like Pacquiao versus Mayweather, how many years we're waiting, Wilder versus Tyson Fury, they have like 100-0, 100-0, like, you know, like people beg, hey, please make this fight, you know, and it's like...
Boxing great and promoter Oscar De La Hoya showed serious worry over Pacquiao fighting again at 46. He said preparing for a tough fight at that age is no easy job. Healing takes much longer. De La Hoya stressed that what Pacquiao's body truly needs is rest, not another hard training routine.
You're 46 years old. You have to remember that. So give your body some rest. Rest right now is Manny Pacquiao's friend in between training, in between you know, sparring sessions. There's no shame in taking a day off or two, Manny. Trust me. Let your body relax, let your body rest. He'll do fine. He's experienced, he's got obviously the power, because it never leaves you. The speed I'm a little worried about, but I think, look, Barrios is a live dog. He's a world champion, and he's no slouch. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I wish Manny all the best. I'm not sure who's going to win. I really haven't seen Barrios, but I think Barrios, I mean, the youth is obviously you know, with him in this corner.
Upcoming fighter Jesse Bam Rodriguez gave a blunt opinion about the Pacquiao versus Barrios fight. While he praised Pacquiao's amazing past, Rodriguez said Barrios will easily win. He believes that youth, energy, and hunger often beat even the most experienced legends.
I think Mario is gonna go out there and just put a beating on Manny. I think Manny's a little too old, but I mean, he's a legend. He already did what he did, so I really don't see a reason for him to come back. But if he wants to go in the ring with Mario, then I guess Mario has to show him that, you know, he has the youth, and, you know, Manny Pacquiao should have just stayed retired.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of fans are saying,
yeah.
and you know, are still kind of disbelief. But even, you know, looking at, you know, social media and the fans, they're thrilled just to see him back. So
yeah.
Just to have him in the ring, you know, and
yeah.
Fighters at that age are not competing. You know?
I think that just says a lot about, you know, the type of fighter Manny Pacquiao is, the stardom he has. I mean, he's what, 46, 47?
He's 46.
And people are still excited to see him fight. So, I mean, that just says a lot about him and what he's done in his career. So, like I said earlier, to see a friend I grew up with fight Manny Pacquiao is just going to be pretty cool. And it's the same night. So, it's a huge night for San Antonio boxing.
Barrios has the upper hand in age, height, and arm reach, which might play a big role in this fight. At 28, Barrios is more active, more alert, and physically fresher. His long arms might help him control the pace, keeping Pacquiao at a distance while looking for weak spots.
So breaking news, Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios is official for July 19th in Las Vegas for Barrios' WBC welterweight title. After 4 years off from pro boxing, Pacquiao will try to become the oldest active world champion in boxing at 46 years old and one of the oldest champions in boxing history. Now, this fight has been rumored for quite a while. They tried to make it last year after Pacquiao had an exhibition with Rukia Anpo, but they were never able to finalize a deal. But earlier this year, they re-entered negotiations and they finally made it official now. Now, in terms of the fight itself, Barrios, he's gonna have a huge age and size advantage. You know, the guy is 29 years old, right in his physical prime. He's probably gonna weigh around 160, 165 pounds on the night of the fight. Whereas Pacquiao, like I said, he's 46 years old. He won't weigh over 145 pounds on the night of the fight. And Barrios, he's just gonna try to stay behind the jab and the straight shots and use that youth to win in the fight. Now, what I will give Pacquiao is he does have a huge IQ advantage, and Barrios' defense didn't look that great in his last fight. But still, the age is the main factor, but you guys let me know. Are you excited for Manny's return, or is it too risky at his age?
Coach Robert Garcia respected Pacquiao's achievements, but pointed out the hard truth about aging. Even though Pacquiao stayed in shape while retired, Garcia worries that aging slows down reflexes, stamina, and healing, all crucial in boxing. Many in the sport share his thoughts. They admire Pacquiao, but fear this comeback may not be worth the risk.
Retirement. Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because, you know, he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, you know, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, you know, getting another title opportunity, I you know, just the name obviously, but I really believe that, you know, Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little, I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can't feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for, you know, I'm just 4 years older, 3-4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're gonna get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were, when you were in the 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. You know, George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. You know, but I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao's speed's the name of his game. Do you think he doesn't have that? There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit. You know, so it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Hell, come on, at that age, after like a few years, I don't know how many years he's been out. You know, that'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, right? It would be nice. Very few have done it, and he's actually one that could do it.
Pacquiao, he's probably top 5 all time, one of the greatest fighters. Does this?
Several boxing experts have raised serious worries about Pacquiao's health. They note that a 5-year break is huge, especially at 46. Boxing is a tough sport that doesn't spare legends, and some fear this return could lead to real harm. Past examples of older fighters getting badly hurt make this fight even more concerning.
Because what's the worst case scenario? Someone gets seriously hurt. Someone has like life-altering injuries, and that could happen in boxing. We've seen this. Manny Pacquiao isn't immune to this. He's been knocked out. He's been hit. He's not Floyd, who has been hardly hit. Like, he's been knocked out cold. I thought when he got knocked out by Marquez, I thought he died. It was that scary. Yeah. Remember that one? So
I do.
Ultimately, I'm most surprised that if it hasn't been officially announced, if it lands in Nevada or California, I'll be very surprised and dare I say disappointed.
Nobody questions Pacquiao's great career, but his return has split the boxing world. Some fans feel he has done it all and fear a bad fight might damage his spotless reputation. They think chasing more wins now could hurt both his health and the image of a once unbeatable champion.
Common sense, like being a world champion means you are the best in the world. You are the champion of this world at your weight class. We all know right now, at least to me, it's common knowledge that that's Jaron Boots Ennis. At 147, he is the best in the world. But he doesn't hold all 4 belts, so he is only one of the 2 or 3, I guess now, world champions. It doesn't make sense to me, and especially when now you're the WBC and you're like, yeah, let's bring in Manny Pacquiao to potentially win a world championship. And let's say he pulls it off by some miracle. Are we going to put Manny Pacquiao in there with Boots Ennis? Is that what we're going to do? I hope not. And again, this is not me trying to be a hater. It's just, I don't want to see Manny get hurt. And Barrios, not the biggest puncher in the world, but he can hurt it badly. He is a volume puncher, and he will be in there against a guy that, again, isn't a natural 147. Even if he finished his career at 147, that's not where Manny was his best self. And he's definitely going to be at a massive size disadvantage here. Height, reach, everything. Again, when Manny was in his prime, or, honestly, when he was still in his late 30s and early 40s before he retired, he could have handled that. The speed was still there. The consistency was still there. He wasn't running for political office and doing all this other stuff and taking time off. We see this time and time again. When a boxer retires, takes a long time off, and then comes back, it usually, again, outside of George Foreman, rest in peace to the GOAT, it usually doesn't go well. And I don't think this is going to either. And it's clear to me that this is done for, you know, a staging of an event versus the actual competitive nature of the fight. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and that Manny still has it, but I'm just going to go with what makes the most sense. The WBC and whoever they partner with on this is going to try to sell tickets off of it. Okay, that's fine, but what's the point of the belt if this is the match? What are you saying?
It's not only Pacquiao getting criticized. Some experts question why Barrios would fight someone far past their peak. They say this isn't a test of top skills, but a smart move to gain fame, without much risk. To them, this fight looks more like a moral issue than a fair sports challenge.
Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao are in talks for the WBC welterweight title fight. They want to do it in Vegas. Pacquiao is 45 and hasn't competed since August 2021 in a decision loss. Mario Barrios is definitely trying to stat pad at this point. In a stacked welterweight division, you can fight Crawford. If you don't want to fight someone who's coming off a W, fight Spence Jr. Go fight Jaron or Stanius, you know? Fight one of the top 4 fighters. You're ranked top 5 and you want to fight Manny Pacquiao. That's stat padding. That shouldn't even count as a win. And I love Manny Pacquiao, but I mean, in his prime, he would definitely beat Mario Barrios, but it's past his prime. Hasn't fought in 3 years. Is 45 years old. It's time to hang it up, bud. I will say, though, if he somehow miracle pulls it off, it'll be the greatest win, I think, in my opinion.
As the match gets closer, the debate is heating up. The worry is not just about losing, it's about possible long-term injuries or a brutal knockout. Some believe this fight should never have been approved and are asking boxing leaders to rethink how they allow older fighters back in the ring.
So Manny Pacquiao is going to get knocked out by Mario Barrios. And I get it, like, Mario Barrios is like far from a good fighter. Mario Barrios is one of the worst champions in all of boxing, but Manny Pacquiao is so old, bro. I think a lot of you guys forget Manny Pacquiao fought last year and he arguably lost to like a Muay Thai kickboxer dude. Like, this dude wasn't even a boxer. Yes, he was really big, but the dude was just not a boxer. Honestly, I think the WBC should call this fight off. I think it's not too late to kind of go back on your word and let's call this one off. This fight should not be sanctioned by anybody. This fight should not be allowed. At least Mario Barrios should be stripped of his WBC title for defending it against a 46-year-old. Is there a slim chance Manny Pacquiao is able to outmaneuver him and maybe outpoint him, punch, you know, around him? Yeah, maybe. But realistically, it won't happen. But if he does, I think it will solidify him as the greatest boxer of all time, no questions about it. I think if he does win this fight, it would put him clearly over Ali, Ray Robinson, Ray Leonard, and Floyd Mayweather. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on how y'all feel about this fight.
Unlike show fights that are clearly for fun, Pacquiao's return is being treated as a real title shot. This has upset boxing fans who value true competition. While stars like Tyson and Paul made headlines, they weren't going for belts. Pacquiao's WBC title fight against Barrios crosses the line between serious sport and show business. Backed by the WBC, it brings drama, nostalgia, and huge stakes. For Pacquiao, it's a chance to retire on top. For fans, it's the final page of a long, proud story. The fight card for August 3rd, 2025 is full of energy. With hot prospects and thrilling co-main events, this isn't just about Pacquiao's return, it's a full night of fireworks, making it one of the year's biggest boxing shows.
So the Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios card is announced, and it's pretty stacked. So opening up the card, it's Pitbull Cruz versus Angel Fierro 2. And this is a rematch of one of the best fights of the year so far. They originally fought on the Benavidez Morel undercard, and Cruz, he started off strong with his jab and walking Fierro down. But Fierro dug deep, drew out some great exchanges, so they decided to run it back. Then featured bout, Brandon Figueroa versus Joet Gonzalez. Figueroa, the former WBC champion at featherweight, but just lost his belt to Stephen Fulton. But these are now two top contenders at 126 pounds. Then co-main event, it's another fun rematch. Sebastian Fundora versus Tim Tszyu 2. The last time it was a bloody war. You know, Tszyu walking forward, got elbowed and got cut open, but still had some great exchanges. Fundora landed some nasty uppercuts, and they're running it back for Fundora's title this time. And then the main event, Manny Pacquiao makes his return to challenge Mario Barrios for his WBC welterweight title. Pacquiao trying to break his own record as the oldest welterweight champion. Barrios gets the biggest fight of his career so far. You know, 4 really good fights on these card, and they should all be action-packed.
That wraps it up for today's video.